Orchard Street, one of the character areas of Lincoln. This area lies directly to the west of the city centre, on the lower slope of the North Escarpment. It forms a rough rectangle which runs south from West Parade and is bisected north-south by Orchard Street. Two busy streets to the north and south, West Parade and Newland, carry traffic into and out of the city. And on the land that lies between them, the first thing that strikes the eye is a number of large-scale public buildings dating from the 20th century. This is the area which contains the major administrative buildings of the City of Lincoln and also the County of Lincolnshire. These public functions mark it out from other areas near the city centre. It's very active during the day, both with road traffic and with visitors to the various public buildings. At night, it is quiet, although it is still used for evening parking. The Lincolnshire County Council offices in the west of the area were purpose-built in several phases from 1926 to 1932. They occupy what was originally the garden of a farmhouse dating from the late 18th century. The council offices were built in Lincoln bricks with details in artificial Portland stone. As completed, the council offices set the scale for the large 20th century buildings in the area. T-shaped City Hall is another large-scale building, dating this time from 1973, and all of one building with only minor later changes. Construction, as for all these large later buildings, is of a steel frame with an outer shell, in this case of concrete, and metal-framed windows. This is the administrative headquarters of Lincoln City Council. To the north of the area, on the far side of West Parade and fronting Beaumont Fee, is the police station dating from 1975, with similar steel-framed construction and clad in this case with dark purple bricks on the ground floor at the southern end and panels of textured concrete elsewhere. It's known by some locals as the Ryvita Building. The most recent large-scale addition marks a change in urban emphasis. This is Park Court, built as student accommodation in 2000 to 2001. Its exterior treatment of brick, with gables to the street and hipped roofing, takes account of more traditional building styles in older houses in the area. But its size is of quite another order, and under that brick and that slate roof, and behind those window details and metal brackets, it is made up of prefabricated metal sections. The arrival of this building has made a considerable difference to the life of the area, by providing some movement and animation in the evenings, after business has finished for the day. But if you look beyond those first impressions of the area, you realise that it doesn't just consist of large public buildings. Despite the scale and ambition of the 20th century rebuilding here, much of the historic framework is there to be seen, or to be worked out. City Hall, for example, is built right over the western defensive wall and rampart of the Lower Roman city. The new building was so positioned as to leave these remains clearly visible, including the well-preserved footing of the Roman Lower West Gate. The line of those Roman ramparts is still followed to the north by the park and the arrow-straight pedestrian route up Motherby Hill. Immediately south from City Hall, you can still trace the line of a raised walk, today called the Park, but formerly Beeson Park. In the 18th century, this raised footpath, which follows the line of the old western defences, used the ruins of the wall and the bank itself as a basis for a recreational walkway. From there, residents of Lincoln could look out over the fields of West Common, a view very different from today's. And also from the late 18th century, even the county council offices preserve a memory of what preceded them. If you get the chance to go in as far as the largest courtyard, you'll see that the stone-built 18th century farmhouse which was there before is still standing, incorporated into the later building. It strikes quite an amazing contrast. As this map of 1842 shows, much of the area was still open fields in the mid-19th century. But between then and the beginning of the 20th century, it was intensively developed, mainly with small terraced properties. Most of this has now been demolished, but a few houses survive, to give an impression of what has disappeared. They're easy to find halfway up Orchard Street, amongst the large-scale buildings. Like the buildings around them, they are now used for offices. As part of the expansion in the latter part of the 19th century, a new church was built on the junction of West Parade and Orchard Street. The site of St Martin's is now occupied by Lancaster House, the job centre. But the vicarage remains to the west, its turreted tower and decorative brickwork seeming slightly incongruous now in the car parks to the rear of County Hall. This video is one of a series exploring the sense of place of the many distinctive areas of the City of Lincoln. Explore the Heritage Connect website to find out more about this or other areas of the city. As well as many videos, you'll find a huge amount of further information there. But best of all, wherever you are, keep your eyes open for more clues to the city's fascinating history.